the cheap challenge. It's the cheap challenge. It's the cheap challenge. It's the cheap challenge. King Buddha, it's never too late to awake you. King Buddha, it's never too late for mistake to. King Buddha, it's never too late to awake you. King Buddha, it's never too late for mistake to. King Buddha, shut up or shut up. King Buddha, shut up or shut up. Fuck.
Welcome to today's stream. Check, check, check. Okay, chat, we're back. Finally. All right, chat. Well, we got a new microphone. We got that Shure mic. Let's go, chat. And it's your boy Chi, King Buddha. We're back. New episode. And this is what I didn't check last time. So I did a whole episode where I had no fucking audio, chat. No fucking audio. It was fucking ridiculous, chat. So you already know that before you guys even got to see it, I probably scrapped it. So we're live today, new episode. It's about Jim Jones, and I hate to do these pieces because these are guys I grew up listening to. So to me, it's like it's crazy. It's just crazy work, period. To even have this conversation with you guys. However, I have to have this conversation with you guys for the simple fact that this is crazy work. You know what I'm saying? Like we have to hold ourselves accountable for our actions, chat. I'm nothing more than an opinionator. I talk a lot of shit, and if something falls in my radar, I have to talk about it. So, chat, here we are. Let's get to it. And sorry, that's usually where old boy sits, but as you can see, he is over here. He want to be a dickhead, so you already know, chat. I told him go over there, man. Let me do this stream. We have to get this stream done. It has to be done. So, chat. Today we are working on seeing what is it, and this is a good. I mean, this guy who's covering the story, he's good money, man, because this is a good YouTube streamer and very concise. So that's why I saved. I was like, let me watch it with a gang. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm over here trying to get this perfect. There we go. My bad, chat. Trying to get it perfect. There we go. All right. So let's get right into it. I don't know if you guys got to hear the intro, which was me letting you guys know we are investing in new equipment. We're trying to get professional as possible, chat. So we got the Shure mic, we got the Elgato 4K camera. This light is so bright. It is so bright. Maybe I should tone it down a bit. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Right, like right there, right? Sheesh. That shit was so intense. All right, chat, let's get into it. I want to get into it. We're not going to watch the whole video. Know what I mean? We're going to watch some of it, but we not watching all of it, chat. It is like about an hour long. And not that I don't do hour long videos, but I'm trying to give you guys, these more concise episodes where, you know, they're more compact. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna watch this. We're gonna enjoy it. And what else can we do, chat? Just getting comfortable, getting comfortable. Because it's a new mic, so it hangs down. And the other mic, it was facing up, but this one hangs down. So it's a little weird, but I love it. It is the most crispy, crisp, crispy, pristine sound. And that's the sound I was kind of shooting for. I wonder if I use this like this, is my yeah, I would like to do it like this. This is a lot better. I don't think I need the popper stopper for this. Pop, pop, pop. Yeah, I don't think I need the popper stopper for this. It's just too much decoration. Every time I move it, the popper stopper has an issue with it. I'm just gonna put this somewhere else for now. So yeah. Oh yeah, this is a lot better, Chad. This is way better because now I could just grab the mic, talk to you guys. Except for the exception of the leather on the seat makes a lot of noise. And oh yeah, this is way better, Chad. Because like this, I know that you guys are listening. I know I'm not being too loud. Whoa, yeah, I'm not being too loud at all. That's perfect, perfect. Oh man, Chad, this is the best investment. Best investment. I'm telling you, Chad. Best investment. It has noise cancellation. I don't want to sell it to you because I don't work for sure. I mean, I'm gonna put the link in the description so you guys, if you want to buy it, now I mean. But to be honest with you, like, Chad, it is a beautiful mic. It is a beautiful mic. I had a mic, I had a good mic, and I'm not gonna lie, I got the DJI mics. Like I've been through the mics. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm just searching for the proper sound. You know what I'm saying? When you're like in a quest and you're like, I know I'm not at the end of my quest. I don't know if you guys ever played Legend of Zelda and all that bullshit, but I'm from that era. So when you come from an era where it's like a quest, you're like challenge accepted. You feel me? That's it. Challenge accepted. I got nothing more to say. Nothing more to say. But yeah, let me not hold you guys any longer. I'm just decorating this shit right here so it could look like, fake Nintendo logo. There we go. And it's the cheat challenge. It's your boy King Buddha. And we are live, chat. Let's get right into it. So this is what I found. And it's by Rapaholics, which is, like I said, a very reputable streamer, and he puts together these great episodes. So I want you guys to check this out with me. You know what I'm saying? And happy Monday, everybody. I wanted to address the snowstorm and everything, but to be honest with you, I don't care to. I don't care to because it's just crazy. It's just fucking insane. Absolutely crazy. The Bronx is is buried in snow. If you want later on after this episode, I'll be more than glad to show you guys some videos from my TikTok where we were walking, trying to walk outside, me and my dog, and it's bad, Chad. It's really bad. But yeah, let's get right into it, Chad. And man, this microphone is amazing. It's like the sound that I wanted to have. It's here because now I have an Apollo twin, so the Apollo does a lot of the work. But the microphone, man, it's a little pricey. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's pricey, but it's fucking worth it, chat. All right, let's get back into this. I've been distracted by selling you a mic. Forget about that. Let's get right into this shit. So here we go, chat.
Now I told you, I told y'all earlier I was gonna bring somebody new in the G unit. I might have a new sign and I might not. The man Jim Jones right here, passing the ball.
I respect Gina G Unit as one of the few movements that I do respect in this game and things like that.
But now you gotta get violated.
Yeah, super violated. Super duper.
I could have been way more financially responsible than I was. I ain't got $20 million to show for it, but I definitely spent it on the land and shit like that.
Run from the spirit of repossession.
Lawbreeze and Gentlegrams, Harlem's headline hero has hearsay swaying him to zero. From Dipset dominance to drama and decay, from swag to surveillance, this might be Jim's darkest day. In the early 2000s, the rapper reigned supreme along with 50 Cent, who's now hitting him with building rent and eviction checks, checking his self-esteem.
Oh my God. So you're telling me that at one point in time, Jim Jones was gonna get signed to 50? And 50 sliming him out like that, yo? Wow. Jimmy. Let me tell you, these guys are not your friends. No, they're not. Oh no, they are not. Not if they, bro. He was gonna sign you at some point in time, so you guys had each other's numbers and shit. What the fuck? I mean, 50's a savage. I will not get in 50's way in any form or fashion. You know, I applaud that man. That's a cancer brother, just like me. I'm a cancer, so I know exactly how he get with that. Know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie. Jim Jones is a cancer too, but he a different type of cancer.
Dirty footage of a couple kicking doors and closing dreams, and see, when style met street, Jim had the world watching. Now screen show struggles and potential pale pockets. So your only job is make the like and subscribe buttons.
Imagine being
able. Yo, his rhyming scheme is so crazy, man. It's so crazy. I'll tell you, it's bananas in pajamas. All right, let me stop.
The details on this daunting docket.
I study
rapaholics
for a living.
Oh God.
50 Cent has been known to make an absolute fool out of anyone he does not get along with. I mean, have you ever hated someone so hard you got Netflix to make a 4-part series tearing that man down? We might forget that 50 Cent pushed the Rick Ross beef that he had so far to the point where he was actually sued by the mother of Rick Ross's children, and his latest victim, Jim Jones, might be 50 Cent's greatest digital victim yet.
Oh God.
But it's an interesting twist because
oh
a lot
God.
of the 50 Cent has on Jim Jones is Jim Jones really putting these issues onto himself. I mean, when you've made enemies out of both 50 Cent and Pusha T, you know you're probably backed into a dangerous corner.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. For the hell of it. Oh God.
And it was just a few years ago when Pusha T reminded the world that Jim Jones was running from the spirit of repossession. Yes.
Too much enamel covers your necklace.
Oh my God, that's who he was talking about. He was talking about Jim Jones.
For $100
oh
after
my
he defaulted
God.
on his $680,000 mortgage.
Oh
Recently,
my
Jim Jones
God.
has also been in the news for claiming that he
Oh
made
my
Kid Cudi's career.
God.
It wasn't Kanye West. It was.
Get the fuck out of here. I did not fucking know that, Chad. I did not know that bar right there was for Jim Jones. Holy shit.
Jim Jones for hopping on a remix to a Kid Cudi track.
Man, Kid Cudi was a nobody. You wanna know how Kid Cudi got born? I'm like, show me your videos. He showed me a video. Ended up being a Kid Cudi video. And I was like, give me the record and I'll let you shoot me a video. They got me the record. I did the record. They shot the video.
How did they get on radio like that?
I'm trying to tell you, I put it on YouTube. Somebody at Hot 97 ripped it off of YouTube and started playing it at Hot 97.
Did he give you a check?
Never. When he got his deal, they took me off the record.
And while it just seemed
you
like
weren't
Jim Jones
on the
was cusp
record, you
of a comeback,
remixed it.
leading a successful venture with his rapper friends Mano, Fabulous,
took
and
him
Dave
off
East with
the
their
record.
podcast.
You
Let's
were
Rap
never
About
on
It.
the
It's
record.
looking like 50 Cent might be coming to shut the entire thing down, or maybe even buy the entire podcast from them. Yes, this is what we're working with here today. But it wasn't always like this, and I think that Jim Jones deserves a little respect on his name because the image he portrays today and the trouble he's gotten himself into does not reflect the contributions that he's made to hip hop in the past. See, a lot of the fashion and aesthetic that you see today within hip hop derives from Jim Jones and the Diplomats in the mid 2000s. Everything from the skeleton imagery on the clothing, the studded belts, that whole rock star aesthetic with the leather, the bandanas, the tighter jeans, the heavy accessories. Jim Jones played a big part in bringing that look to the forefront. In fact, he credits himself for the big stylistic change that Lil Wayne took when he entered his Best Rapper Alive era, and I don't think many people would contest that. He was even the first rapper to go viral wearing chrome hearts way before Soulja Boy.
But I don't know if Lil Wayne bit my style, but he definitely complimented my style. You know what I mean? Okay. We family. That's my boy. That's the homie.
That's the homie.
He started dressing like that.
Yeah, we gave it to Wayne. He came to Dipset school, was with us for a whole summer. He was with Wells for a whole summer.
He said
His whole
Dipset
style changed
school.
that summer. Wayne is the
Yo,
blood,
did
that's
he
how-
just say Dipset school? Yo, I don't know if I was Wayne, how I would take that. Because if you said I went to Dipset school, are you implying that I had no class?
Brother, that's one of the few artists in this game that we got a lot of love for.
That's
Him and
crazy.
Wells are like twins. They did a lot together coming up.
That's
So where did
crazy
it all
work.
go wrong with Jim Jones? How did he go from breaking through doors in culture and fashion to kicking down doors of his podcast studio so that he didn't have to record with a winter jacket and gloves on? Well, Joseph Jones II was born in July
Spicy.
of 1976. Yes, he is approaching the ripe age of 50 years old. Keep that in
Yeah,
mind. when we
50 years
review all
old.
of his recent behavior. Jim Jones was raised
Shit.
in
I-
the
if-
1199 Plaza, an apartment
I'm
complex on
old,
the border
and
of
he
Brooklyn
older
on
than
the
me.
Upper East Side.
You
Raised
already know
primarily
what
by
I'm
his
trying to
mother
tell you,
and his
Chad.
grandmother. He was actually neighbors with Dame Dash and met
Dame
around the age of 6.
Dash.
Dame was around the age of 11. And Jim grew up in rough
they were
environments,
young.
which, as he puts it, taught him how to fight at an early age. His grandmother gave him the nickname Jomo, which stood for Joy of Missing Out. And he ends up moving into his grandmother's place in Taft Houses. And somewhere around this time, he meets Freaky Zeke, who is cousins with Cameron. They were selling candy bars at school to buy themselves sneakers and clothing.
Me and Jim in high school, we used to get to school early. We used to run up in the candy store. I used to buy Oreos, cupcakes, bonbons, whatever, cookies. We went to Catholic school, so we had to wear blazers. So we used to put all that stuff in our sleeves, and our inside pocket, and our regular pocket, sometimes in our book bag, because we had second period lunch. So fifth period come around, they was starving. So we, in Spanish class, we like, we got Oreos. We sold that the whole week. That's how we used to get our sneaker game on.
And Jim had actually ended up graduating high school a year early and briefly worked at a law firm through a program that gave inner city kids part-time jobs. After a couple months, he quits. And around this time, he becomes friends with Cameron, who at the time was trying to pursue a career in basketball, but was also beginning to make
Cameron
music
was a
with
basketball
some of his
player,
friends,
so
including
Cameron had his
Bloodshed
opportunities
and
lined up
Mace,
already.
who you guys obviously know as Mace. Now,
Mace
Cameron
and
appeared on
Betta.
Big L's 1995 album,
Woo!
Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous.
That
And
was
he and
Harlem
Jones
World
formed a
right
group
there,
with
Chad.
Big L
No
and
cap.
Mace.
That right there was Harlem World. It was Mason Betta. It was a Cameron. I remember that first album Cameron dropped. That shit was fucking crazy. Oh, look at him. Look at him. Oh,
Jim
shit.
isn't
How
rapping
old
at the
is
time,
that?
but in 1995,
Jim didn't
Jim's
rap.
grandmother passes away, and while not wanting to be alone, he invites Cameron, Bloodshed, and Mace to constantly hang out at his
Bloodshed.
apartment. And it's there where Mace would teach Jim Jones how to rap. By 1996, Mace signs to Bad Boy Records, and he stays closely connected to Jim Jones and Cameron. He
Were you recently injured in a car accident? Look at this check for $160,000. If you're looking to get money you're owed for an injury, I want you to imagine you and your family
actually took Cameron to
whatever.
Biggie's house to try and get him
I
signed.
really need to
And Biggie had
invest in
planned to
like
sign Cam
YouTube
to a new
Premium.
label
I'm
he was
tired
signing,
of the
but
commercials.
unfortunately, he passed away just a
Sheesh.
couple months later.
Mason
A
Betta.
lot of people want to know, and they always ask me this. When you had your record deal, why did you take me to Biggie Smalls and not Bad Boy?
Man, it's almost gonna bring me to tears to say this.
What
I
it
just
do, what it
being that
do,
I saw
Des.
you as such a good friend. I want to put you with somebody I knew with.
You already see.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that.
And that's real right
Now,
there.
Cam and Jim's friend Bloodshed had also lost.
That's real life shit. He said, "Why did you take me to Biggie's and not to Puff? If Puff had Puff had Bad Boy." He said, "Because you my real friend, and I wanted you to have a better opportunity at a career than getting jerked by Diddy." Look at that shit. That was Mace when he was like 18, 19, when he was like in his 20s, yo. Like that's wisdom. A lot of people at that age is chasing the bag. They don't even care about the careers. You know what I'm saying? This nigga was like, yo, I don't want to fuck up your career because that's your shit. I'm fucked up. Diddy got me in some shit. I gotta go become a pastor and shit. You know what I'm saying? It was fucked up for Mace.
lost his life in a car crash in 1997, and this made Jim Jones and Cameron grow even closer. Mace around this time becomes a superstar. Cam and Jim are reported to have gone on the road with him, and while rapping is not at the top of mind for Jim, Cameron is desperately trying to get his big break as a rapper. Jim and Cam end up going to the Lox's video set for the song Always Love Big Papa, and it's there where they get in contact with Lance Rivera, who was Biggie's former business partner. He was also the co-founder of the record label Undies Recordings, and he ends up signing Cameron to the label, which is where Cam had released his first 2 albums.
Mace got his record deal. He was on fire. I was going with him everywhere. He didn't want me to go to Bad Boy. He took me to Biggie Small's house. Biggie had his own label. He put on beats, and I just rapped for like 40 minutes for him straight.
That's
and
crazy.
He like, cut the beat off. What you want? I'm gonna call my man Lance and get it. So he ended up dying during that process. They was shooting the Rest in Peace video for Biggie in Harlem.
Now I'm gonna tell you something, chat. That's real life shit, yo. Think about that, yo. You think you about to get out the hood? Know what I mean? You like excited. You like, yo, this is it. This is the moment for me. And then the guy that's gonna put you on gets shot in fucking Vegas. Yeah, it was in Vegas, right? In the fight, in the Mike Tyson fight, or was it in Cali? Alexa, where did Biggie Smalls lose his life?
The notorious B.I.G., also known as Biggie Smalls, was killed in Los Angeles, California.
Los
on March
Angeles.
9th, 1997.
March 9th. So, Chad, you imagine that, yo?
B.I.G.'s life and career.
And I know how that feels, chat. I know how that feels. You know why I know how that feels? Because I remember that I had a friend that was going to put me on, rest in peace, Arsen Stero. And Arsen Stero, yo, chat, this new microphone is fucking bananas, chat. Look at that shit. Look at the light on this bitch. Look at the light on this bitch. That shit is crazy, chat. Yo, I'm so in love with this fucking, yo, R.I.P. Arsen Stero, my boy Leap, yo. He was going to put me on. He was, yo, and my life would have probably been a lot different if I would have probably went down that road, because he was going to put me on. He was going to teach me how to re-rock a brick and shit. Like, he wasn't going to teach me no other codes and shit. He was going to teach me how to turn into a kingpin. You know what I mean? And then shortly after that, he passed away from an overdose. So I know what it's like. You know what I'm saying? I know what it's like. I know what it's like to be like, oh man, I'm gonna have an opportunity to, you know, be wealthy and you know, but then you fucking you lose all hope, Chad. You lose all hope because that's the person that was gonna put you on, and then he passes away. He didn't even pass the torch to you. You know what I mean? Puffy didn't get to. I mean, Biggie didn't get to sign Cameron, and I'm gonna tell you, he was in the plans, because if you hear a song by Biggie where he says the commission, that was part of he was part of the commission. This is Uncle Paulie, Cecilio, Iceberg Slim, the Most Shady, Frankie Baby. Know what I mean? So this shit was all in the works, man. Charlie Baltimore too, man. Like, chat. That was a crazy, that was a crazy blow, man, to wake up and find out that your opportunities have been cut off because the nigga that was gonna put you on has been assassinated in a plot. Where's my fucking hold up, chat. Oh my god, that mic is so fucking fly. I love my microphone. This is the best mic. If you guys get a chance to invest on a mic, now I see why all the podcasters have it. Joe Rogan, Joe Budden, everybody has a Shure mic. Whenever you see a podcaster, they normally have one of these mics. I mean, normally have one of these mics, chat, because yo, the sound quality is so fucking bananas. Is so fucking bananas. Chat is so fucking bananas. Look at that. Now I look like one of those professional podcasters. Chat, what the fuck? Yo, I'm too hype for today, man. And today's one of those days you're supposed to just chill the fuck out, but I don't feel like chilling the fuck out. I feel hype. I feel excited, chat. I feel hopeful. I feel like something's gonna happen. I just don't know it's gonna happen, and that's fine with me because I like surprises. You know what I'm saying? So, shit, I know something good is happening. I don't know why. I just feel something really big is gonna happen. It's gonna be some streaming shit. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get this opportunity. I don't know, Chad. I don't know. I just feel like now I'm gonna have it's like a game. Everything is like a game to me. It's like a score. It's like once I know that I can unlock something, I'm gonna keep doing that. Like that's why I like Fortnite, because you get the little quest, and if you do a quest, you're gonna unlock this. Same shit with like fucking Call of Duty. It's like you get a little chance, you get this, you unlock that. You understand? So once it becomes like a game in my head, then I want to get unlock shit. Right now, I'm in the process of like I can't really disclose because I don't want to jinx myself in no way. But right now, I feel like I'm unlocking something in my career, and it's just gonna open up more doors. Like I don't know how to explain it, Jack. It's an exciting moment right now, and as you can see, we're on the 32nd episode. Like we are booming, you know. Like we not slow walking through this. You know what I'm saying? We really trying to get through a liar stage and get that 10,000 hours. You know what I mean? So back into it.
And his partner that he called, named Lance Rivera, was there at Jacob York. And I'm like, yo, I'm the guy Biggie wanted to sign. They had just did a new deal with Sony. And they was like, we'll give you the record deal because that's what Biggie wanted.
Throughout this time, Jim Jones is close to Cameron. He appears on
So he
Cameron's
did
debut
get
album
saved.
Confessions of Fire on the song Me, My Moms, and Jimmy. And Mace is also featured on the breakout single from this project, Horse and Carriage. However, this is when issues started arising because Cameron had reportedly asked Mace to be in the music video, and Mace had allegedly demanded $50,000 to make the appearance.
Hey,
Cameron
yo.
thought this fee was unacceptable, so instead he brought in...
No, that's unacceptable.
Hi, we're Charity Water.
That's definitely unacceptable. Like 50 thou for a fucking video appearance.
Take Mace's place. Cameron thought this fee was unacceptable, so instead he brought in a body double to take Mace's place in the video.
Yo, I love when cats think they're bigger than a sumo. That's when I hit them with a little Puerto Rican judo.
This sparked issues between Cameron and Mace, and of course Mace announces his retirement the next year in 1999. Cameron releases his second album, S.2, on Sony and Epic Records, but demands to be released from the label, and that's when they reconnect with both Cam and Jim's childhood acquaintance.
Wow.
Dash. Cam signs a reported $4.5 million record deal with Rockefeller Records. In
Yeah.
2001, he
Get it.
drops his third and most successful album to date with Come Home With Me.
Yeah, that was fire. I remember those
First step to
albums.
getting signed to the Rock. How did it go down? Dame Dash, he been managing me for like a year and a half. That's my man. We grew up together and everything. When everything wasn't working out at Epic, we decided to go over to the Rock. Like we gotta get out this deal. Epic is just screwing us up. They do real good R&B, but they didn't know how to market me. So we thought, knowing that I knew Dame would be better over there. A lot of problems at the last label, like creatively. Like I wanted to do a certain type of music. They didn't like the music I wanted to do. Whereas at Rockefeller, they let you do what you want. Like that's on you. If you flop, you flop. If it pop, it pop.
Jim is
Oh,
all over
that's
the
fire.
album. Freaky Zeke's on the album,
I
and
go
this is
fuck
where
with
they
that.
bring Joel Santana in the picture. The Diplomats group had already been formed by around 1997, but it was during this era in around 2002, between the success of Cameron's Come Home With Me album and a slew of mixtapes that the Diplomats began releasing, with Joel's, Jim, and of course Cameron being the frontrunners of the group. This is when they really started taking off, and of course Jim was a core member. By 2003, you get the massive Diplomats project, Diplomatic Immunity. Jim Jones was actually
Diplomatic.
directing the early Dipset music
See-
videos, and Cameron had allegedly wrote some of Jim's earlier
I never was a big fan
being in the
of
film.
Dipset, but my brother and my cousins and them, they would just play the shit. So I it got it. You listen to something long enough, you gonna like it. And then I got into it, and then it was just our shit. You know what I'm saying? Because they were like the guys who got it on their own. You understand what I'm saying? They weren't like being pimped by some fucking company. Like they were the Dipset. They were doing whatever the fuck they want. Purple City tape, the fucking yo. Shouts to the Dipset.
But it's through the success that the Diplomats were receiving that Jim starts to pursue his own solo career. And he allegedly wanted $1 million deal, but Dame Dash had laughed in his face, saying that Jim wasn't good enough at the time. Jim ends up signing an independent deal with Kosh Records, and through the label and Diplomat Records, he releases his debut album, On My Way to Church. The album sparks a minor success with singles like Certified Gangsters, and in that year, Jim Jones and
Oh, that's what
Cameron would get
Certified
into a
Gangsta
heated
was? That shit
argument
was
with
fire.
Mace on Hot 97, with Jim calling out Mace for leaving Harlem and not being safe to come back.
Oh,
So as you can
God.
see, Jim Jones has been talking crazy for 20 plus years at this point. But from a
Damn.
career standpoint, this actually kind of worked in Jim's favor. The Diplomats were at the forefront of East Coast hip hop. They
OMG,
blended Harlem
Jimmy.
street culture with flashy rock star inspired fashion, and there was a rebellious but also kind of colorful expression and aesthetic to everything they did. This is when Lil Wayne comes in the picture.
Yeah,
He
they
starts
brought the
collaborating
colors.
with Joel Santana very heavily, and
They
like
brought
Jim
in
said,
colors. These
everything from
motherfuckers
the
were doing
fashion
pink,
to the blood gang
purple.
affiliation to
They
the
were doing
way Wayne was
colors.
rapping, it was all taken from a blueprint that the Diplomats had created.
Oh wow, Wayne.
It's around the same time that Rockefeller breaks apart Jay-Z and Dame Dash split, and this is when Jim Jones's run really started. He dropped 2 back-to-back successful albums, Harlem, Diary of a Summer in 2005, and then Hustlers POME in November of 2006. And this is when a lot of chaos begins to
Shouts
ensue.
to
There's
Jim
the whole
Jones.
conflict between Dipset and Rockefeller. Freaky Zeke
Keeping that
gets locked
Harlem
up for
vibe
running an
going. You
ecstasy ring
already
allegedly
know.
for a good portion
Bird
of Jim
Gang.
Jones's biggest run. Jim
What
starts
it
his
do,
own collective,
Buzzin'
Bird
West
Gang
Side?
Records, tries to sign
With
Max
Jess
B
West
to
in the
Diplomat's.
house.
Cameron
Shouts to my
rejects the
Buzzin'
idea. Jim
Jess.
Jones ends up signing Max B to Bird Gang Records, and Max B allegedly wrote Jim Jones's biggest hit, We Fly High. No, I was like,
In chat, don't forget that I have this on, like, I increase the speed so that way, you know what I'm saying? I'm tired of getting flagged by these guys. So I don't know if Rapaholics is gonna do it to me, but I don't know who would do it to me. So I just didn't want to encounter that situation.
a 10-year-old in Canada at the time, but I remember hearing the song all over radio. This was huge. And it's around this time where the collapse of Dipset begins to ensue because
Yeah,
the
this
two
is when
founding
Dipset
members,
starts
Jim
falling
Jones
apart.
and Cameron, they start going at it. At the height of
Mhm.
Jim's career, Cameron decides to take a 3-year hiatus from music in around 2007 after his mother had suffered 3 strokes, which left her paralyzed on her left side. About a year before this, bootleg t-shirts began being sold with the
Wow.
name Tricky Ricky being printed on them. And it was
Oh,
directed at Jim Jones for
fuck.
his
Tricky
relationship
Ricky.
with Chrissy Lampkin, who he had allegedly been showering with gifts very early on in their relationship. And during a 2017 Instagram Live, Cameron had actually admitted to being the mastermind behind producing these shirts. He admitted he was
Wow.
wrong for this. He was just confused because him and Jim had been friends for years, and all of a sudden he starts dating this girl and
This shit you find out later, huh? That it was Cameron doing those Tricky Ricky shirts.
quickly starts spending tons of money on her. But Cam says after this, everything went downhill.
Habit because he'll say
Ballin'. Heard you
This
buzzing.
is what I did, and I'm not going wrong. I was dead wrong for this. And
This is Cameron admitting it, Chad. This is Cameron himself being a man about it.
this is where the whole shit collapsed at. This is where everything went all the way downhill. I'm being totally honest. Jim met Chrissy. When he met Chrissy, he been liking Chrissy his whole life. He loved Chrissy,
Wow.
you know what I'm saying? But he
He
just started
loved
messing
her.
with her. We was just kind of new to having millions of dollars of money or whatever. So Jim just meet Chrissy and he started messing with her and he's buying her bags and buying her shoes like the first 2-3 weeks he met her or whatever. So I was like, yo, you tricking, man. What is you doing? You tricking, you bugging. This is my mistake, and I'm being totally honest. And that if I could do it over, I swear to God, I would do it all
He
the way
was
over. 'Cause I
tricking,
see how the
chat.
relationship grow, and I see they're still together, and I think that's real dope. I think that's
OMG.
inside. I didn't know it would grow to be that, but I'm thinking from a mindset. This my man.
Yeah,
Last
that
year
would
we
definitely break
was
up a
together,
friendship.
his bond, what's the name? So
Like,
I
why
didn't know
do
what
you
turn
care?
it is. So what I did was I made these
Why?
T-shirts, and it said "Tricky Ricky," aka Jim Jones is a trick, and on the back of the shirt, we had man in
Why?
jail. Snags was in jail.
You know what the shit is to me, chat? It's like, all right, so he was tricking, right? But who cares? He was probably excited with the girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know when it's your boy, you don't really want to, you don't want to throw him you don't want him to be looking like a fool in front of other people. But yo, if he felt like he was happy and that shit was nothing to him, let him do it. And then, right? Then when he's not in love with her, you tell him about it. But you can't do it while he in love with her. You're gonna break up your friendship like that.
My man Chanel from Hufford T, for Young Handsome, he's in jail. We had a lot of niggas in jail at the time. And I was sending them money. So I made the shirt that said Jim Jones, Tricky Ricky. And he not looking out for the now niggas in jail. And on the back of the
Oh, that's why he was feeling like this nigga tricking on these bitches, but that niggas is locked up and you ain't sending niggas no money. You ain't putting no money in niggas' books and shit. Like, nah, I feel that. I feel that. He had to stand up for the gang. You know what I mean? He did it for the gang, chat.
shirt at all I niggas in jail, and I called him a trick. But I was looking at like that. Look at that. Would grow to be what it was, but those shirts hurt. I had niggas wear the shirt in the studio because we was cool. Niggas wearing the shirt, everybody was. It was just a joke. I didn't know he took that shit serious, B.
Duh.
He took it serious until he's like,
Chat, put it in the comment box. What would you do? How would you feel if your friend is making shirts secretly about you and you're seeing the shirts in the streets and you wondering who the fuck is doing that? And you find out it's your best friend on the same label you grew up with. What would you do, Chad? Would you still be cool? Would you forgive him? Or would you listen to your girlfriend who's like, yo, I don't want you chilling with that motherfucker? Because that's what the girl's gonna say. The girl's gonna be like, that ain't your homie. That ain't your homie if he did that.
me manning up, I apologize about doing that. I really do apologize about that.
Now, shouts to Cameron for being gangster like that. That's gangster, bro. That nigga did. Yo, that's some type of sense of humor right there, let me tell you.
but it's not from the perspective of that's a good well, man, we some bitches together last week, 2 weeks ago, or a month ago. I didn't know it was like that. After I did that shirt though, everything was damn hell.
Now remember, it was after this that Cameron.
Damn, man. I know he would. I know he would have took that shit back if he could, man. For real, he would have took that shit back. Yeah, no, Cam been hanging on Jim for a minute now, because I guess how would you feel if you were the first one out? Like Jim wasn't even a rapper when Cam had music. You understand what I'm saying? So just think about how would you feel if you were Cameron, the leader of the Dipset, and then your man's becomes as big as you. That's why I could never be under another rapper, because if I was under another rapper, like if I was to get bigger than him, he's not gonna allow that. Jay-Z was never gonna allow Memphis Bleak or Beanie Sigel to get bigger than him. Neither would fucking who we got that were like under each other, and that they were not. The only time I've ever seen that formula actually work out is with the Juggernauts. Dr. Dre signed Snoop. Snoop was bigger than Dre. Dr. Dre signs Eminem. Eminem was bigger than Dre. Eminem signed 50 Cent. 50 Cent was bigger than M. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and I don't mean like a whole totality of their career. I'm talking about as a signing act. Like, I'm signing this guy. He ain't like, think about people fucking Gucci Mane signed. Them niggas ain't never went nowhere. Think about the people that fucking like there's people that sign other rappers that don't fucking go nowhere. Cameron had Jim, who wasn't a rapper at the beginning. Mace taught him how to rap. And then your man becomes as big as all three of them. So they become the Juggernauts. The only problem is that they're not holding it down. They're imploding. You understand? As they become giants, they seem to think that their space is not big enough for each other. And I think that I don't care how small you think Harlem is or how big you think Harlem is. I feel like what Mace does, what Jim does, what Cam does is very individual to each other, even if it sounds like the same shit. You understand? Imagine if Jewels would have been as big as Jim. I think Cam would have felt some type of way too. And I'm not saying Cam is a hater, but you gotta remember Cam and Mace were the first. You understand it? And you can't. How could they foresee you being bigger than them if they putting you on? You coming in the game later. That's like you becoming bigger than the drug dealer that put you on. Like how, nigga? I'm the nigga that's putting you on. I got all the moves. I got all the fucking sauce.
Had stepped away from music, but Jim is at the height of his career. So Jim starts dissing Cameron, saying that he's not being a good leader. Cameron disses Jim back, accusing him of disloyalty and trying to take control of Dipset. And Chrissy had even appeared on Love and Hip Hop, openly criticizing Cameron, saying that he wasn't supportive of Jim Jones. The irony in all that is that Cameron at this time starts also beefing with 50 Cent, and Jim Jones starts working with 50 and G-Unit, which is all ironic now, but here you have Dipset, who had quickly rose in the mid-2000s, but they already started big issues with Mace, then Jay-Z, then you get the internal conflicts, and now Cameron is here beefing 50.
And I told y'all earlier I was gonna bring somebody new in the G Unit. I might have a new sign and I might
tough.
not. You got nice hair. To man Jim Jones right here. Bought you the biggest record of last year, right?
Oh yeah, balling. We still balling.
Well, we gotta do that one time. Tell me how to show you how you do it. You got to pass me the ball for us. How we gotta do that? That was the ball, baby. You know what I mean?
I respect
Ballin'.
G-Unit is one of the few movements that I do respect in this game and things like that. I got a new deal pending. I don't want to.
That's so fun. Coolest plugin I ever used.
Jim ends up dropping a couple big mixtapes in the late 2000s and spawns another massive hit with Pop Champagne featuring Ron Browns. Now, if you guys remember this time, T-Pain was at the top of the game, and Ron Browns had quickly snuck in along with Roscoe Dash, who was down in Atlanta, I believe, and they both heavily
the auto-tune era.
Similar use of auto-tune that T-Pain had pretty much made famous. New York hip-hop was kind of at this weird state by this point. Some of the biggest hits from New York were coming from Ron Browns in the late 2000s. Pop Champagne, Jumping Out the Window, splashed in auto-tune, and I believe, while everyone kind of says
that nigga was, what's up with Ron Brown? We should check what's up with him.
Or even Jim Jones kind of standing beside him, because those auto-tune drenched club hits, they didn't really represent the core Dipset sound or New York as a whole. And at that point, it was kind of like, all right, everyone and their mother is using auto-tune, right? Just to get a quick
everybody
cheap hit. A-Rap
fucking
around that time too. Weird times.
Weird times. Hey, you definitely jumping out the window with that.
Now, Jim Jones a couple years to
jumping out the fucking window with that one.
And
well, at least I know that how that chorus was born.
Official studio album 3 years later in 2009, Pray for Rain.
Now we know how that single was born, huh? You jumping out the window with this one.
And this album didn't really have much success aside from that Pop Champagne single. Like, the album only sold 42,000 copies first week, debuted at number 9. This was almost as bad as Jim Jones's first album when he was still, relatively unknown. And with that, you get the start of reality TV era Jim Jones. See, again, Jim Jones initially had aspirations of delving into a career within film. And by 2011, he gets his big break on Love and Hip Hop with his significant other, Chrissy.
That's
And
why
they
he
even
did
get
Love
their
and
own
Hip
spin-off,
Hop.
Chrissy and Mr. Jones.
My love for Chrissy's unconditional. I mean, I don't know how much more it can grow. I'm about to blow up. It's grown so much.
This was in 2012. It ran for 2 seasons. Jim even continues making his mark on the fashion game, teaming up with his former business partner, Dame Dash, to release.
Ooh, this is when he teams up with Dim Dash. But damn, look at your man. How he looking? What's up with Jimmy there? How that doesn't look. That looks pre-rap.
What should definitely be considered.
Yeah, that looks rap, post-rap.
A very innovative brand.
What happened, little
Vamp
boy?
Life Clothing in 2014. I mean, guys, if you follow, Playboy Cardi's career or
Yeah,
his
just
whole
chill.
aesthetic, like, it came from this. Recently, Soulja Boy's been going viral online for calling himself a vampire over a distorted beat in like 2010. People saying that he was the first
Nah.
rapper to call himself
Nah.
a vampire. And rap
It was
with,
Jim Jones. We all
distortion
know that.
before Playboy
Stop
Cardi made
playing.
it popular.
No disrespect to Soulja Boy, but no, Jimmy did it first.
But it was this aesthetic, the Vamp Life lingo, the clothing, it all came from Jim Jones. And at the same
Yes, it did not come from Soulja Boy. It came from Jim Jones first. No way.
time, alongside that, Playboy Cardi's also very inspired by Lil Wayne's fashion style from like 2007, and that was also heavily inspired by Jim Jones and the Diplomats. So
Exactly. That also was inspired by Jim Jones, which is Vamp Life.
we got to give the guy credit where credit is due.
Even when you see me put the Vamp stream, even I got that from Jim Jones. That's the first guy running with that Vamp shit.
But with that, it would be here where we'd see the slow decay.
For real, for real. Oh, your man in the projects.
Of Jim Jones's career in music. Projects were dropping, but they were getting no buzz. And I'm not going to go into much of the detail about the street-related drama that Jim Jones was involved in, but I did think it was interesting that when Tekashi 6ix9ine had been arrested on federal RICO and firearms charges, he famously snitched on every 9 Trey Bloods member involved in the trial. And of course, Tekashi was, being used by the collective as kind of like a golden goose, a means for, money. And you guys probably know that
he wanted to be
made
down.
the 9 Trey Bloods infamous.
And he's from the hood, so what the fuck? But make that nigga put in work.
In internet culture.
So when people be like, no, because Tekashi wasn't a gang member before he got down with them, Tekashi lived in the hood the whole time. He knew what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Right? The whole Treyway thing. Well, Jim Jones even found himself implicated in that because he was caught on a wiretap phone call that was played in
Shouts to Tekashi 6ix9ine. Free the guy.
Court where he was saying that they need a...
I mean, I don't fuck with snitches, but he is a good businessman. And money is money. You know that. If you've been locked up, you know you're going to do business even with people that... With the Aryan Nation, you're going to do business with gangs you don't fuck with because business is business. Now, everything else, I don't know what to tell you.
Super violate someone.
Wait.
That's cool.
Oh, come through here.
Super.
Come.
Super duper. So ain't too much he can
Come
really
to your
do unless
seat.
he gonna run around with 100 armed securities all day. You know what I'm saying? He gonna get shot at.
Come.
He ain't getting enough money for that.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And he just canceled all the shows.
And he ain't a gang member no more.
Nah, he ain't nothing.
Come here.
That's what Shotty need to make sure he do.
Nah, we
Tell
Legend.
him that he's not a gang member no more. He kicked out the whip.
Come.
He was never a gang member.
Up.
Shotty need to expose
Good
him.
boy.
Nah.
Stay there.
So that was just an interesting detour, and it was kind of like the most spotlight Jim Jones had received on him in a while when this went down in 2018.
That's
but
crazy.
He would
That's
receive
very...
a bigger spotlight than
That's extremely implicating. I hope that doesn't bring any trouble down his way because that's the type of shit that opens indictments.
he had seen in years when he actually got the Diplomats to briefly reunite for a versus battle between them and the Locks in 2021. And the irony is that it was believed that Cameron had actually got his record deal by being at a Locks video shoot. So kind of brings everything full circle. Jim had allegedly been begging Cam to do the verses, and they ended up being really unprepared and definitely taking the loss to the Locks. Now, about a year after this in 2022, Jim Jones forms the Lobby Boys with rapper Mano. The name was inspired by the building lobbies that they were raised in, the apartment complexes. Mano and Jim had their own issues earlier on, but they ended up reconciling, and Cameron and Mace had also reconciled around this time to start their podcast in January of 2023. About a year after starting it, they actually get 50 Cent on the show, and that's when 50 and Cam start joking about how Jim Jones switched sides on the Diplomats in 2007
Let me show you something that makes me furious every time I see it. This is a real tax return from someone making $284,900.
To start affiliating with 50 and G-Unit.
For the younger audience, we had like a rap battle thing at one time. And 50, what you did, so we was having interior problems at Dipset. Nobody knew about this. Nobody knew that we was like not on the same page.
Right.
So when me and you were battling during our music thing,
Hey,
you got
right there.
members of Dipset to come
Yeah,
to
yeah.
your
No.
show. And I'm like, so I'm sitting there like,
Yeah, that was
this is kind of smart, because I wouldn't have thought about reaching out to Yayo or Lloyd Banks. I'm like, niggas going public with this?
I'm like, yo.
What was your thought process behind saying, yo, you know what? The songs. What was how'd this work? How'd it go?
Jimmy was not a rapper then.
Right.
He was your man, like on the side, like in the side, just he was not a rapper at all.
Right.
So when balling took place, and I'm looking and I'm going, oh, he having a moment. That's the Lloyd Banks. It's Lloyd Banks thing. He wanted that. He was watching them be that. Like
Hey
Waves
there.
be that and can be that. And looked at, and it was finally he had one.
Hey there.
And I just looked and I knew I just took the shot, murder.
Hey there.
Because I was sure he was gonna go
Wrong
for
with
it.
you?
But I was like, we like Jimmy better than you anyway, Cam. Then you gotta watch and see how he responds. And then when you see, he like, oh shit, he really like that. Hey, give me this, get me Jimmy. Yeah, tell him we want you at the show, Jimmy. That was one of those things I just threw it out and see what. And then when he bit to it, because it was like he was having a moment that not sure that was going to ever happen again.
This causes Jim to respond. Him and Cameron go back and forth. 50 Cent's kind of at the center of it. And of course, now we get to the modern day when Jim Jones and Mano end up linking up for their own podcast with Dave East and Fabulous called Let's Rap About It. Oh, so before that, I forgot to mention. Remember how in around 2006, they start printing these Tricky Ricky t-shirts, which is a jab at Jim Jones for spending egregious amounts of money, right? Yeah, well, by like 2024, Jim himself admits that at the height of his career in that era, he was spending insane amounts, racking up $120,000 a month credit card bills, probably blowing around $20 million in total. So it looks like Cameron might have had a point with those shirts.
You said you spent $20 million at the time of balling.
That's crazy.
Where did you spend the $20 million?
Spending and living. Like my credit card sometimes like $120,000 a month. That ain't got nothing to do with the everyday expenses. So we deal with a lot of cash and stuff like that. So
I know it was a lot of PJ. You PJ King at one time.
if you jumping on a jet all these times and your jet bill sometime might be $500,000 a month. I ain't got $20 million to show for it, but I definitely spent it on the land and shit like that. I could have been way more financially responsible than I was.
And now, because of all this egregious spending, see, Jim Jones and his girlfriend Chrissy, they had
Good
bought a
man.
house together in
Check 'em out.
2006. But by the late 2010s, the money starts drying up from the rap career, and they actually allegedly stopped making mortgage payments on that mansion that they had bought. The bank had sued them in 2017 for non-payment,
There's no
and they
space. How are you
defaulted
gonna
on
do
that
that?
mortgage, with the house eventually being sold in a sheriff's auction for just $100. And after this happens, Jim Jones is like heavy on radio, podcasts, just yapping a lot, right? This is before he starts a podcast of his own. And in around 2023, he had actually taken a little jab at Pusha T when he questioned why Pusha T was on a lot of people's top 50 rappers of all time lists. Remember, this was at a time when those conversations were going viral online, who were the best 50 rappers of all time. A lot of people had Pusha in their list, but Jim Jones had said, what has he done that puts him in the greatest rappers of all time besides talk about coke? And he probably didn't even do it himself. He's nice, he
What?
can rap, but what has he actually done?
That's crazy to
Now, I
say.
think
That's
Jim has done
crazy
a lot,
work.
But don't forget, Jim had also said that he is more lit in 2026 than Nas is, right? So I don't know how much validity you want to add to his opinions on these type of conversations, but Pusha T had actually responded in the infamous record Chains and Whips, talking to Jim Jones directly. I mean, I'm going to try to play you guys a clip of Pusha T performing this song, but he's staring right at the camera, like letting you know he's talking directly to Jimmy over here, all right? So he raps on that record saying,
Run from the spirit of repossession.
too much enamel covers your necklace. I buy bees, you buy them sections.
You buy watches, I buy collections.
Starting this verse
Wow.
right off the rip, referencing the fact that Jim Jones's house got repossessed and he's wearing fake jewelry. And while he's buying a singular watch, Pusha T's buying entire collections. And at the same time, like Jim Jones, he's still kind of trying to act like he's a young guy, right? He's still in the club. He's buying sections for these girls. Like he's 50 years old, still in the club, right? And Pusha T continues, misery's fueling your regression. Jealousy's turned into obsession. Reality TV is mud wrestling. Some sign checks I know better than. And of course, we know Jim Jones. had a
Wow, I
career
just
with
noticed he is
and other
talking about
online
Jimmy.
hip-hop, right? On reality TV. Pusha T saying,
Reality
there's no
TV.
check big enough that could get him on reality TV. And at the same time, Jim Jones here is just, and after this
Oh
happens,
my
Jim
God.
Jones is like heavy on
Run from the spirit of repossession.
too much enamel
Wow.
covers your necklace. I buy bees, you buy them sections.
You buy watches, I
Wow.
buy collections.
By bees.
Starting this verse right off the rip, referencing the fact that Jim Jones's house got repossessed and he's wearing fake jewelry. And while he's buying a singular watch, Pusha T's buying entire collections. And at the same time, like Jim Jones, he's still kind of trying to act like he's a young guy, right? He's still in the club. He's buying sections for these girls. Like he's 50 years old, still in the club, right? And Pusha T continues, misery's fueling your regression. Jealousy's turned into obsession. Reality TV is mud wrestling. Some sign checks I know better than. And of course, we know Jim Jones had a lengthy career with his significant other on Love and Hip Hop, right? On reality TV. Pusha T saying, you know, there's no check big enough that could get him on reality TV. And at the same time, Jim Jones here is just bitter and miserable and jealous. And that's what's getting him to get on these podcasts talking crap, right? And he continues saying, you're questioning, you know, this late in the game for both these guys who have had lengthy careers, who have inspired, you know, the next generation. You'd think that there'd be respect amongst respective legends, right? He raps, crush you to...
Whoa.
That is so true.
I just built a budgeting app in Base 44. Guys.
pieces. I'll hum a breath of it.
I will close your heaven for the hell of it.
You'd think there'd be valor amongst veterans. I'm watching your fame escape relevance. We're all in the room, but here's the elephant. You're chasing a feature out of your element, and those lap diamonds in their inspection. Of course, Jim at the time holding on to the little bit of fame that he still had, kissing Pusha T to try and, you know, get that cosign or that feature from Drake, begging Cameron to do the verses. He's chasing a feature or a cosign out of his element, out of his status at this point. Also with diamonds that would fail an inspection test, right? Because if your house is repossessed, odds are you're not wearing, you know, a house on your neck. And the best part here, the best bar, is where he says the question marks block your blessings. See, that's a slick double entendre, because obviously he's saying that, you know, all these stains that you're throwing on your legacy, all the crap you're talking, the jealousy that you're mustering up, the misery that's fueling your regression, it's these things that are actually blocking you from being truly blessed. But at the same time, if you guys ever played Super Mario Bros, then you know when Mario hits the blocks that have those question marks on them, there's a little item that pops out of those blocks that if Mario ends up eating them, he ends up leveling up and growing bigger, right? So him saying here, the question marks block your blessings. He's talking about the literal blocks that help you level up in the game, but he's also talking about, you know, Jim Jones holding himself back, holding his career back by all of the negative things that Pusha T had pointed out in this verse. So, you know, what I find interesting is that while all these guys are dissing each other on podcasts or whatever the case is, Pusha T is the only rapper approaching 50 years old that's still delivering like sharp, poignant, layered verses to respond to these guys who are talking down on him, right? So I really hope that puts it into perspective, especially when we look at, you know, the whole back and forth between Jim and 50. Like, the only person that Jim went at that actually took it to the booth and gave an impeccable response in the form of a verse back was Pusha T. And Fabulous too. I gotta give Fabulous credit on that too. Shout out to Loso. But Fab, he was dissing 50 Cent. Why was he dissing 50 Cent? Because 50 Cent has been going on a crazy campaign against this Let's Rap About It podcast that, again, was formed earlier in 2025 by Mano, Dave East, Fabulous, and Jim Jones himself. Now, make no mistake, 50 Cent has been clowning Jim Jones, guys, for ages at this point. Him and Cameron on the podcast a few years ago, clowning Jim for switching up, you know, at the height of the Diplomats G-Unit popularity in the mid-2000s, but also when there was tensions there, right? But 50 has been going at Jim for separate issues as well. I mean, Jim, to put into perspective how poor his rapping career had gone, he dropped an album last year, and 50 Cent had actually did the math on how little that album had generated in revenue, and he sent the numbers to Cameron and then posted it onto Instagram. $3,500. Sends it to Cameron and then captions the post saying, "Oh no, Jomo, what now? All that for $5. Say sorry to Cameron, fool. LOL." And remember, Jomo, that's the nickname that his grandmother had given Jim Jones. Jim had also gotten into a little scuffle at an airport, and 50 Cent had responded to the whole issue, of course, clowning Jim, posting a picture of an old man boxing with the caption saying, "Yo, the old man from the airport said he's gonna see you, Jimmy. Stop thinking stuff is sweet." But now, the real root of this issue and how we got to the point where 50 Cent may literally buy Jim Jones's podcast and the studio that they record in is basically, if we rewind the clocks back to around holiday season when 50 Cent had dropped his holiday special, The Reckoning, a documentary 4 parts about Sean Diddy Combs, documenting on Netflix for the world to see every horrible allegation and crime and whatever that Diddy had committed, right? Now, a lot of the guys on the Let's Rap About It podcast, they had some sort of connection to Diddy at one point or another, and they got on their show to react to the documentary, more so questioning, like, if you
That's what I
are
need
not
to
getting
do.
along with this guy, is it
or just
morally
sounds
right
cool.
for you to basically make a whole live public viewing where
Yo.
you're crapping on him and exposing all
Yep,
these
I
things
need to
that
order
maybe the
food.
public
I'm
didn't know,
hungry.
or painting a narrative
What you
that
got?
may not even be true? This is what they had to say.
Is it
I think
acceptable
that's
for
what I'm gonna
someone
get.
to create a documentary about
Chinese
you without your approval? How would you feel if it happened to you?
It's like
Definitely not acceptable. It's facetious and petty.
right. It's like somebody putting out your sex tape.
Yeah, I haven't ate Chinese food in a while.
Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna be
without
out.
your permission, and you're not an actual porno star. And they
The last thing I ate close to Chinese food was
trying to
Japanese.
make you just look
I
bad.
bought
Oh, they put me on a
broccoli,
bad
chicken and
day.
broccoli
I
with
wasn't even on my shit. This
spring
is called
roll
a
and the
weak
fried
one.
rice.
You see that the lighting is dark?
But it was not
Damn.
Chinese.
You see that the fucking lighting is
Japanese.
dark?
Cut. You looking small
Still
out
put
here.
this on the internet?
Word up. I ain't gonna front. I think yeah.
Over here
if
watching
if they
the
saluting you,
insane
First of all, if somebody
fall
doing a
of
documentary
Jim
about you,
Jones.
you want it to be a dope
it
documentary,
gotta be dope.
The
showing who you
insane
are,
fall of
what
Jim Jones.
you've done,
Not no bullshit
everything you've
on me.
accomplished. Like a documentary is a big thing. Like you don't want nobody doing a documentary about like trying to just make your whole
Yeah,
character
yeah.
look
No,
weak.
no,
Like,
no. The
that's
rapper.
petty behavior.
I know the company that did it, so we could talk. You know what I mean? 'Cause if
Rapper.
it's on me, I need. You know what I mean?
I don't understand why that's like legal to do though.
Yeah, but
Like
I
without
need a
anybody,
couple- I
like
need a
if you're
couple
doing a
hours.
documentary, if I'm doing a
The
documentary on
Whips
you,
and
why would you
Chains
want the
verse is
person
about him.
involved to interact?
Really a
to-
documentary. It's more like a
It seemed like
Bullshit
yeah.
necklace.
You know what I mean? It's
It
not-
seemed like when you don't use the person, it's more like
Reality
you're
TV
against
is
them.
mud
Anyway,
wrestling.
so
you
that's
doing
why I
shit
don't
like
think it
that.
should be.
How can it
They
even be called a
story that ill.
documentary?
You can do something
Because
with
once
it.
you-
It's
Like,
story
why is
that
it called
ill.
a documentary when it's not? When
it's still a you know it's not an autobiography, but it's a documentary because
I
once you
couldn't
become
believe
a public
that.
person,
And I love that verse.
Bro,
I'm
none
like,
of them people
that's
know
him.
about
We
documentaries I watched. None of them people knew him.
Oh
They all-
God.
you go.
They
That's what I'm
just,
saying.
you get what I mean? Like you
But
can
once
just,
you become, if you're
if
a
you that
public person,
figure,
you're in
they
the
can just do
news,
it.
you can be Google.
So do
You,
you think that it's wrong? When
I
I'm
think
not
it's
with it.
wrong. I'm not with it
I ain't
either. I
saying
think that.
I'm not with it.
do
I
we all
think you
agree that
should-
it's wrong? Thumbs down for that
I don't
shit.
want nobody putting out my sex tape.
Yeah.
You're right.
I mean, if they slandering you or they violating, I think it's wrong.
We
You know
talk
what I
about sex
Nah.
tape with this nigga. This
mean? If they
Never heard that.
saluting you, it come with who
Yeah.
you
It was
are.
different.
I mean, yeah.
Would you rather raise a bully or your child to be?
And of course, 50 Cent wouldn't hear this without a fight, right? So first, he posts a picture of the podcast
Yo,
on
that
his
nigga
Instagram
played
saying,
them.
these guys are squatters. They owe $250,000 for the space that
Yo,
they're building their
Pusha T
podcast.
is the
These
truth. Shouts
bums
to
are trying
Pusha
win
T,
Best
yo.
Dressed Award and can't
Pusha
pay
T
their
is the
bills
truth.
because, of course, we know Mano and Academics also had a beef when the podcast first started because Academics was clowning the outfits they were wearing on the show. And of course, again, we
Yeah.
review the history of
And
Jim
it's a
Jones'
rap.
influence on fashion, so I think they can
They
dress how they
both
want to
coming
dress.
after
But
you.
for 50 to say that they owe $250,000 to a podcast
It's a
studio,
wrap.
it makes no sense, right? Like, just a little bit of advice for any of you guys that want to start a podcast, right? Like, I'm here.
Just wanna
with a
see you
mic that
think
cost
about
me
it too long.
$400. I started this thing on my iPhone, right? Like,
Yeah.
I was recording into my iPhone at first.
I don't want to
If
hurt you. I
wanna
want you
start
to
a
just
podcast,
torment
all you need is a
yourself.
budget of, I would say at the most, like $10,000, and that could probably get you 10 episodes. And we're
Mm-hmm.
talking high budget here. We're talking about, renting out a studio that comes with cameras, comes with a crew who's going to manage all the lighting, all the sound, the engineering, the editing, all that stuff. Each episode should not cost you
Oh,
more than
man.
like $1,000.
Spicy.
There's no fancy
I was facing transition that I knew needed to happen, a make or break moment for me to become the woman that I knew that I could be.
edits here. They're using literally the same microphone I have, right? Like, there's nothing crazy here. Plus, if their podcast is only generating like 150,000 views on average per episode on YouTube, if you count in sponsors and the ad money, like each episode is not making more than, I would say at the very high end, like $5,000 to maybe $10,000 on the very high end if we're being generous. I could tell you YouTube will pay you around like $8 to $10 for every 1,000 views that you get, and that's if you're doing like super long videos, right? That's just off the ad money. So if they're doing around like, even let's say 200,000 views per episode, that's only around $2,000 in ad money from the episodes. And then let's say they got a sponsor that gives them at the high end like $8,000 an episode, and that's really being generous. I mean, I personally have never gotten paid anywhere close to that amount from a sponsor, so I'm being generous here and saying that they're making around $10,000 an episode. I don't even think they are. Then you got to imagine that's split between 4 people. How they somehow amassed a $250,000 debt to the podcast studio that they're using, that makes completely no sense to me. But we know Jim has had his money issues, and 50 here is basically saying they're all broke, right? And then he points aimed directly at Jim Jones, saying on Instagram, I understand Diddy was your hero. Stay down with him. I don't care if you let him play with your butt, then act like you don't remember. And this sparked a whole back and forth. First, you had Mano respond. He also actually sat down with Angela Yee to explain that if it's smoke, it's smoke. He's not running from it, but he denied the rumors that they owed the $250,000 to the podcast studio. Or he kind of just said like he didn't know anything about that, right? Like it was kind of up in the air here, really, with this response.
It looks like 50 Cent has
Yeah.
taken shots at
Yep.
the Let's Rap About It crew.
Yep. Smoky, very smoky.
Now, 50 posted this.
Documentary is a big thing. Like, you don't want nobody doing a documentary about like trying to just make your whole character look weak. Like, that's petty behavior.
I don't understand why that's like legal to do though.
Documentary is more like.
Bro, I don't know, Chat. You tell me, man. I don't think that is a.
All right,
I don't
now,
think it's
he
as
posted
much
that
as a
clip, and then
downfall
he
on
also posted, and I got to make sure I got to see like
Jim
what's true and
Jones'
what's not true.
downfall as much as it's just one of his moments. Like, this is what Jim Jones does. Like, if you guys don't know about Jim Jones, he's a crash out. He's a crash out. It doesn't matter how old he is. He's a fucking crash out. And all of this shit is just part of his crash out. Later, you're going to see him drop a fucking bomb-ass song. Everybody going to vibe to it, and nobody going to remember he crashed out. You understand? He going to end up in a reality show, probably on the Zeus network, fucking around with whatever the fuck is the movement and getting that bag. You understand what I'm saying? But you guys, you can't think that this is going to be the downfall. Know what I mean? So, guys, drop it in the comment box. You want to see the whole episode. It's going to be, the link is going to be in the description. Know what I mean? And you already know it's Rapperholics. He's a reputable streamer. I don't want to make this shit any longer than it is. And if you guys really want to tap in, you already know. I told you his episode is a whole hour long. I was not gonna cover the whole shit. So chat, tell me what you think about this in the comment box. Drop your comments and fire away. You already know it's your boy King Buddha, aka Chief from the Cheat Challenge, man. And anything that you see on this podcast, I'm gonna have links in the description. So you guys, if you want to just go ahead and buy it yourself, you know what I'm saying? So you're probably not gonna get a discount because I do not get sponsored by any of these people. I'm just putting you on to what's the hardest shit that you could use for your podcasting needs. All right, chat, you already know it's your boy King Buddha. Drop it in the comment box. Is Jim Jones's downfall insane? Or is this just one of his crash outs and he's just gonna bounce back because that's what Jimmy does? You already know, chat. Peace.